really glad you're here. I'm Amy, and this is Amy's Wild Cards. This is the podcast where I interview people who I think are my friends with a deck of cards filled with random questions I have created. This deck will be shuffled at the beginning of each interview, and whatever questions come up and in whatever order is completely up to fate. We're going to laugh, maybe cry, possibly be offended. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to start shuffling.
Okay, love it.
I can feel my energies like intense right now because we were just like rushing around. So I'm going to just like breathe, focus on Kaitlyn.
Yes.
And what like the universe, God, higher power, whatever you want to fucking call it, organizes these cards.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's outside our control, huh?
Yeah. Which is what makes it wild and fun.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to give you a choice. You
Okay.
can either tell me when to stop shuffling,
Okay.
or I can choose.
You choose.
Okay, I love that. Okay, I kind of want to stop right now,
Love it.
but I'm also scared. But I'm going to do it. You're
I
scared
think
too.
yeah,
I should be less scared than you. Okay.
You've done this before.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. First question.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm so glad you got this question because no one's gotten it yet, and I really want to know.
Oh my God, I'm scared. Okay, love it.
Savory gum. Are you interested?
Savory gum?
Yeah. 'Cause
Ooh.
all gum is sweet,
Ooh.
and it's a little annoying.
Ooh. That's a really great question.
Thank you. I'm so glad you think so.
So the first thing that came to my mind was like a little like sour cream and onion thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that could be good.
Yeah, and then you know what I think of?
What?
Okay, to be fair, I thought of this after I wrote the question.
Yes.
Is like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when they like there's like gum that they eat and then it tastes like different things. Yeah. And I think one of the gums they talk about like tastes like roast beef or something like that.
I know exactly.
So I'd like to think this is like an original thought I had, but I think it already was created in the 70s.
I mean, yeah, but you're bringing it to the people.
Thank
You're
you.
like, okay, Roald Dahl thought of it. Now what do we think?
Yeah, but also, has it ever? I haven't researched it, but I wonder if someone has like tried to develop it and it just wasn't a hit.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe if someone's out there, they can let us know.
Yeah,
they just developed it. Like,
yeah, and then I'll do research and I'll like put it in the comments later.
Love
like,
it.
I'm the person who does them.
Yeah,
I'll get back to you.
Amazing.
Okay, this is another good one for you, Kaitlyn.
Oh gosh.
Is there something in your life where no matter how much of it you have, it is never enough?
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there something in my life that no matter how much I have, it's never enough?
Yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind is money.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I could ever have enough money.
Right.
You know, I think that's something everyone relates to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Money and this might get a little bit deep or whatever, but yeah. I also think that I have like so much love given to me by like friends, family.
That's great.
And I don't think it's necessarily that it's not enough, but that like I don't always fully receive it. And so I feel like I'm lacking when maybe I'm not receiving it because I don't think I'm worthy enough, maybe.
But so,
I don't know.
Okay, I want to see if I heard you right. So you feel like you're actually getting enough love, but because of your I don't like the word inability, but that's the best word I have right now.
Yeah.
But because of your maybe blocks from fully receiving, you feel as though you don't have enough love. Exactly. But you think that you actually are getting enough.
Yes.
Very interesting.
It's like enough is being given to me.
Yes.
It's whether I can actually receive it.
Yeah.
Like the analogy I think of is like, I don't know if there's like a struggling actor out there or something, and they like see a ad that's like looking for an actor and describes them, but they're like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. You know, like it's out there.
Imposter syndrome a little bit?
Maybe a little bit.
That's interesting. I've never thought about it in terms of like love. But yeah, because imposter syndrome is like, oh, I'm not good enough or I don't deserve the thing. Right? Yeah. So that I think that tracks.
Yeah. And it's like all attached to self-worth, you know. It's
totally.
Like, should I be receiving this? Do I deserve to receive
Would you
this?
rather have all the money, or would you rather be able to receive love?
Oh my God.
That's not on the cards, but
don't ask me that.
I just did. You can answer however you like.
Oh.
I like that you're torn though. That's fucked up.
Listen, it's
You're
easy
young
to
still.
feel loved in
You're
like a
young.
Lambo.
You don't know.
You know?
It's easy to feel loved in a Lambo. Is that
Yeah.
what you said?
That's what I said.
Okay.
No, that was a joke. That was a joke. I am torn.
Yeah.
I know the right answer is that I should be able to
I know
receive
what I'm
love.
supposed to say.
I know that would be more spiritually fulfilling
Sure.
and like fulfilling as a person. However, I also think that someone who's like in a big period of transition and who hasn't actually gotten to their career yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? If I just had money, then I could focus on everything else. And I think that that's a trap that like a lot of people fall into.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel insecure because I don't have enough money.
Yeah.
And so if that were fixed, then boom, I would be fixed.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the dialogue that's going in my head, even though I kind of know that not necessarily to be true.
Yeah.
It's like what I think might be true.
Right. And I've gotten to experience different things. So I think when I was your age, I definitely probably would have said the same thing because I was at a point where like I wasn't valuing my friendships enough and like my family enough. I really took it for granted. And then I moved to New York by myself. I like a few years younger than you. So like in my very early 20s. And then I got to experience just like the complete opposite. And I had a really horrible time there and was really disconnected. And then I had an experience where I got to see how much I valued like people and love. But if you're already like, oh, my box is checked with the love stuff, then I could see why you're like, okay, well then the next thing that's lacking, let's fulfill that. So that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Are your parents proud of you?
Yeah, they are.
That's great. They should be.
Thank you. They tell me that all the time. See, that wasn't
good.
really a hard question because my parents tell me that all the time. It's more of whether I'm proud of myself. That's what I'm still working on.
Yeah.
My
I
parents
agree with that. Spell hippopotamus.
Okay, I'm going to stop myself for 1 second because my instinct is really to go like HIPPOT. You can't take me out to go. That's what initially.
That's great.
But I know that's not how you spell hippopotamus. That's a different word.
You don't spell it hot to go? Okay.
No.
But I like that you put that in the song. Great.
Thank you. HIPPO hippo POTAMUS.
That's great. I had a friend on. Only one other person got that card. Well, except for me when I interviewed myself. I don't know.
Okay.
Obviously I had to interview myself for the first episode.
Yeah.
I was like, if I'm going to put you through this, I'll put myself through this.
Yeah.
So my one other friend, he's a scientist and he's a doctor. He has his doctorate. And he couldn't spell it, so feel good about yourself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That makes me proud of myself.
Yeah,
Let's
there you go.
put it that way.
And I was like holding the card when I spelled it. I was like, well, this isn't fair.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was like, I just saw it.
That's fair.
Oh, I'm glad you get this question. Oh, I don't know if you're going to get this reference, though. You're so young. When I was younger, I hated when people talk about my youth. So I'm sorry. I'm being that annoying person in their 30s. Okay. Mary, Kate, and Ashley.
From Full House.
Great.
Yeah.
Or Tia and Tamara. Do you know that one?
Tia and Tamara. Isn't that like a rapper or something?
Well, I'll give you this. Doja Cat has a song.
That's where I know it from.
Yeah.
But I don't know who they are.
Well, then I guess we know your answer, who you're choosing. So they're the other popular twins of the 90s. They had a show called Sister Sister. And, yeah.
Oh.
And their younger brother was actually on some episodes of Full House. So, and they were on an episode too, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know Full House well enough. If you told me the episode, I'd be like, all right, I trust you. But...
90s like twin mania was like a thing in pop culture for some reason.
So they walked so that Dylan and Cole Sprouse could run. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
hearing. Yes, that's exactly what happened. So
I'm sorry. Can I interrupt for a second?
Please.
My answer is Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
That's
my answer.
I like the outside of the box thinking.
Thank you.
Okay. What happens when I die?
Whew. Can we get religious with it?
You can do whatever you want. Yeah. Some of these have been like really spiritual, really religious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Jewish. For those of you who don't know.
Yeah, if you guys don't know Kaitlyn's.
Am I allowed to break the fourth wall like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so I'm Jewish. I got the little Star of David going, you know. In Judaism, they say that there is no such thing as hell.
Right.
And the idea is that, the way I had it described to me is that it's like a big football stadium. And down on the field, that's where God is, and that's where you're at your most holy. And that's where you're the best version of yourself. And your goal is to get to that. Just like here on earth. And so the idea is that depending how you were on earth, you're either up in the nosebleeds or you're like right there. And so the idea is that while you're here on earth, you do things that move you up and down in the stands. But then once you die, you're stuck there until there are people here on earth that can do good things in your name. And that moves you closer and closer to holiness.
After you're dead.
After you're dead. Yes.
Could it move you further away also? Like if they had a bad experience of you?
Probably. I never really thought about that, but probably. Yeah.
Whoa, like, that's a real risky game.
If people weren't happy with you after you died, then
yeah, you got to do your 9th step.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't know what the 9th step is in the 12 steps, it's when you make amends.
Yes. And so the idea is that like once you're gone, people can still do things in your honor to like lift you up. It lifts themselves up. It like makes all of us just better people. And when I say lift up, I mean like bring down in the metaphor that I'm using.
Right.
You know, I realize that could be confusing.
Opposite in.
Yes.
Okay. I have a couple questions.
Yes.
One, I love that, and I'm assuming this is like in the American Judaism tradition, it's framed as a football stadium, which is very American.
This is true. So I got this metaphor from my stepmom, who like has formerly been Orthodox and is now more Reform and is trying to move more conservative. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, this kind of applies to all sects of Judaism.
Well,
also.
It's a helpful analogy. Like I've never heard it described that way. And honestly, like I'm someone who grew up really religious and I grew up Christian, and it was always like Judaism's really essentially like part of Christianity.
Yeah.
Very much so. It's like the base of it. So I kind of like grew up thinking I knew a lot about Judaism, but I only found out like last year, the year before, that like they don't believe in hell. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? How did I not know this? Because hell is very much a thing in the Christian religion.
So I've heard.
Yeah. So where do you, so then this is my thing, right? Like taking it back to like the scriptural text, like where does that concept of like no hell or interpretation of closer and further from God during life and after death, like do you know like where you could reference like the scriptures as the base of that concept?
I don't know.
Okay.
What I do know is that when I was doing my own research into it,
it's
not an explicit thing.
Right.
It's not explicitly written. It's like there's something called the Talmud, which is a bunch of rabbis interpreting the Torah.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where it comes from, is these people who really know a lot about it, interpreting it for themselves. And so, theoretically, if you read the Torah yourself, you could get something totally different out of it, Yeah,
I think that's what's so tricky with the Bible, too. It's like you're never going to get all the Christians in the world to, like, agree on, like, what it's saying. Like, I've recently been in discussions about the creation story, and which is the same for Judaism, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm curious if you know the take on this, but I recently took a class on anthropology of religion. Mm-hmm. And it really helped bring things together and make sense.
Yeah.
And so cultures all over the world, multiple different centuries, even before Christianity and Judaism, which Judaism, I think, is the oldest religion, or not the oldest. It's one of the oldest.
I mean, like it predates Christianity. It's one of the oldest. Yeah.
One of the OGs for sure. And, but my point is that there's creation myths. They're called myths, right? Mm-hmm. All over the world. Aztec creation myth, there's ones in Africa, so on, all the continents.
Yeah.
And there are crossovers with the creation story in Christianity and Judaism. Oh. And so I've kind of been hearing a little here and there about like, there are things in the Bible that aren't literal, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of one of the problems, I think, especially with like American Christianity and like Christian nationalism, is like you're taking the whole book, which is a collection of books written in multiple different literary styles, you're taking it all literally. And then that is really problematic and dangerous, as we've seen. Right.
Yeah.
And so I believe, I'm definitely more of the belief now that the creation story is not a literal story.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean.
What's your take on it?
Growing up, like, I went to Sunday school and I thought all the stories were literal. And I was like, oh my God, crazy.
They're presented that way.
Yes.
So it's like,
100%.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I was in college and I took like a fellowship class, like through my Hillel, that was all about like Judaism.
Your what?
Hillel.
What's that?
That's a club on lots of college campuses. That's for like young Jewish people.
Okay.
Yeah. And so there's like basically usually two. There's Hillel and Chabad. Okay. Hillel is a lot more reform. Chabad is like the Orthodox Hasidic. So it kind of depends your flavor.
Is that on most college campuses? That's like a thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a thing for
okay.
sure.
Okay.
And I mean, living in LA, we have a lot more here than like, in rural Tennessee or whatever. Yeah. But theoretically, they're everywhere.
Okay. Cool.
So I thought that they were all literal. And then I took that class and I was like, oh, here's a bunch of literal texts that like suck. Okay, so now I know that it can be up to interpretation. Like, it's true. And it's like, if we're going to be following this stuff, it has to move with the times.
Yeah.
It can't just be like, this is something that was written here and it's stagnant and it's true forever.
Yeah.
Because these were also written in a time where like women weren't like valued. Women were seen as like homemaker. Well, that has value, but like women were homemakers and they did this and like you were whatever. There were a lot of things that were really problematic back then. And so I think that it has to kind of ebb and flow and adapt with the times and be open to interpretation. I think that if we don't let these things be open to interpretation, they're going to die out. Like I'll give you an example from my rabbi, Rabs Brian Bornstein.
Shout out, okay.
Shouted him out, because I love this like interpretation. The idea is that in Orthodox Judaism, the idea why they are like homophobic is because man can't waste seed, right? Right. And so it's like that also includes masturbation.
Yes, it does. I remember those scriptures. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And we do not talk about that in the church.
No.
No. It's not really talked about. Yeah, we talk about masturbation, but like we don't talk about the fact that like anytime a man ejaculates, like you're not supposed, like the scripture I remember is like not to like spill it on the ground.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Go ahead. I'm going to text this person right now. My next person's early. Sorry.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So that's like exactly the scripture that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so you learn that like maybe you're homophobic, but like number one, there's reason behind it that is very outdated. And number two, like that doesn't say anything about women with women. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
It doesn't say anything. And so we have to kind of interpret these things. And like, if you want to interpret it literally, okay, so then what's your beef with like lesbians?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And there's like one scripture in Romans, so in the New Testament, so not included for Judaism. And then that one talks about like women like laying with women, but that's like really the only like lesbian one. So it's very interesting.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Sorry, I had to. I don't like to edit anything out. Like I keep everything in. Yeah, everything stays in. So the fact that my next person is here and just knocked on the door and then I texted them, that's gonna be in there. Sorry about it. Okay. So next question, and we have time for like maybe a couple more. I don't know.
Okay.
The convo's been really good, so we've taken a lot of time on a few cards, which is good. I love it. Do you feel like I cut you off on anything? Was there anything else you wanted to say on that?
Just that, like, I guess my message to all of you is like, just don't judge people based off the most radical people in their religion.
Oh,
because we see important. A lot of that, and
yeah.
It's something that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
And can we get political?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you want to say.
Here's my take when it comes to like stuff going on in the Middle East.
Yeah.
It's very personal to me.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I think the issue is just like the radicalism everywhere.
Yeah.
both sides. There's both radical Islam
Yeah.
and radical Judaism that makes it difficult for any kind of coexistence to happen.
Because you can't really reason with a radical person. Like, no matter, like, extremist views literally anywhere on anything. And then what I've learned time and time again is that I find the answer, literally any problem in life, is in the balance. And I think that's where God is too. And I think that's what the goal is. The goal is always balance, right? When nature is in balance, it's in flow. When we're in balance, we're in flow. So I think that's important.
Yeah, I feel ready now.
Okay, good. This card is fun for me. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be fun for you. And so we're going to do maybe like 1 or 2 more cards, and then I'm going to give you the final card that everybody gets.
Okay.
When was the exact moment you realized you were in love with me? Describe it slowly.
What? Wait. Okay. Describe it slowly?
Yeah.
When did I realize that I was in love with you?
I like that I think I'm so funny. Because, I just care about me having a good time at the end of the day. This is very selfish. This is all very selfish.
Oh my God. Well, okay. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
I don't use the word love lightly.
Great.
Okay. I say it when I mean it, and I don't say it when I don't mean it.
Yeah. That's important. I think that's great.
So, no offense, but I don't think that I'm in love with you. I hope you don't take that personally.
No. You're also the first person who said that.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone else answered it, and they told me when they were in love with me, which my ego loved. But I want you to be authentic. Like, I don't want anything that's false.
That's
accurate. You also know me the least out of everyone I've interviewed so far.
Oh, really?
Too.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's fair.
Because we've known each other like a few months.
Yeah.
So I think that's like good context to have. It's like,
yeah. Like, if you were like, oh, I know exactly, and I'm in love with you right now. But no, it was cute too, because I was like, how are people going to answer that? Like, I don't necessarily mean romantic love, but also it's phrased that way, and it's hilarious to me, as we saw. But my friends gave like these really sweet like friendship answers. We're like, but it was really cute. But again, there were people who knew me much longer.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be the last one before our ultimate. This will be the last from the shuffle.
Okay.
Oh, this is another fun one. No one's gotten this one yet.
Oh God.
Have you ever thought about watching your own funeral so you could hear all of the nice things people will say about you while you're still alive and can enjoy it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I definitely have.
Me too.
I definitely have. I've thought about it, but it also makes me more likely to say the nice things that I think about other people.
Now, right?
Yes, now.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, recently I had like a health thing with my mom, and I just was like, my brain was off and running. I was like, what if she dies? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, what, you know, whatever. And that's made me become very like introspective about like, okay, how do I feel about this relationship in my life? And what can I do about it now? You know? And I've thought about like all these nice things that like people could say about me. And then I just also made the conscious choice to like surround myself with people who are more open with those things.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Like my friends who I am in love with, like, you know, we say it to each other all the time because life's too short and you don't want to hold on to that. And like, we're all so much more grateful when someone's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and like, that's such a shame.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it's really important to like say the things now. Like I've had like a few dinners and things like that I've hosted, and I've gotten encouraged by this by like another church I was part of where we kind of did this a little bit, or they talked about doing it. But like you go around and like they would talk about doing it for people's birthdays, for example. But like everyone goes around the table and like says one thing they like really like or appreciate about you. I know, and it's really special.
Oh my God, I'm gonna do that for my next friend's birthday.
Right?
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
it's really
amazing.
nice. It's really nice. Okay, final question. So we have about like 3 minutes.
Okay.
If this is the only surviving audio clip left of you in existence, what do you want people to know?
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Holy
And you
crap.
have like just a couple minutes to let us know.
Just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I've tried to be a good person throughout my life, and I want to be a good person, and I don't think I'm where I want to be yet in terms of like who I am to other people, how I treat other people. And a lot of that has to do with how I relate to my own morals, how I relate to the morals within Judaism, because obviously that's a big guiding force in my life. I just want to like take care of people and be happy. That's all I want.
So you want people to know that you want to take care of them and be happy?
Yeah.
So if they hear this, excuse me, that's what you want them to hear.
I feel like that's just kind of like me in a nutshell. It's just that like, I don't know. I want to, yeah, like.
Great.
I want like a nice house. I want like a Lambo, whatever. But also like, I don't know. I think it's really, I want to like devote my life to just like helping people that need it.
Yeah, and it sounds like you are, since you're on your way to be a doctor, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's impressive.
That's the goal. I don't know. Let's not get crazy, guys. I'm still applying. I haven't been accepted yet.
I believe in you. I believe in you. Well, thank you so much for being on this podcast, and everybody else now gets to enjoy you and get to know you, and I feel like we had like a really like meaty conversation, right?
Yeah.
She was thick.
Yeah, there's just so much to sink your teeth into there, like
yeah.
There's so much content. I hope y'all like
the content's so solid.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, well, thanks so much, friend. That's it. We're
Absolutely.
done.
Oh my gosh. Yay.
Okay.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh, I'm so glad you liked it.
Oh my God. You have some good questions on there.
Oh, I'm so glad you think so.
Damn.